Is Arsenal. Arsenal were 10 places and 19 points better than Spurs this morning, but neither points nor places bring much happiness when the fans sense that their club's place at the very top table is nowhere near as secure as it was. The four totems of English football have been unmovable since time immemorial. But now, one of the four is showing true signs of weakness. Arsenal's lofty position is in danger of crumbling, and no club would like more to bring them down than Spurs. They chipped away at their rivals back in October, and this week have put back in place one of the cornerstones of their side. As for the Gunners, it remains to be seen whether they're strengthening their position or just papering over the cracks. Jonathan Pearce was at White Hart Lane.
Arsenal fans will have to wait a while to see their big January signing. £15 million Andre Arshavin isn't fit enough to start. He's on the bench. Keane, who was in Tottenham's side that beat Arsenal 5-1 here 13 months ago in the League Cup, hasn't beaten them for any of his clubs in the league in 9 years. Jermaine Genius returns in their other change. He's scored in his last 3 games against Arsenal. Palacios, who once had a trial at Arsenal, makes his home debut. David Bentley is banned. Arshavin hasn't played since November. He's not risked from the start. Diaby is banned. Song returns, as does Van Persie, who's never lost against Spurs. Adebayor has 8 goals against Tottenham in 8 meetings. And to add to their firepower, Eduardo is on the bench almost a year after shattering his leg at Birmingham. Harry Redknapp is the 8th Tottenham manager to face Arsene Wenger. The last 5 have failed to beat him in the league. And there's the Tottenham chairman, Daniel Levy. Spurs have spent £335 million in the time that Arsene Wenger has been Arsenal manager. He has spent £222 million in that time and won 3 titles and 3 cups. Again, Robbie Keane to his right was left screaming in anguish. So close to opening his account. Spurs have had 10 attempts. The 144th North London derby is still very... It's Song. Oh, goodness me. So close for Arsenal. For Spurs to wrap it up. But Almunia would...
I believe that it was an important decision from the referee to send Deboué off. I believe that the first yellow card was soft, the second I didn't see. But I think he made a massive wrong decision today, is to cancel the goal we scored, and that's not acceptable and not serious.
The sending off, he did seem to flick out a foot in retaliation to the Modric challenge.
If he did that, he deserved the second yellow card, nothing to deal with. If the referee saw that, it's okay.
It's always going to be hard. They're going to sit in, they're going to get bodies behind the ball. The fans get a little bit frustrated because they think you're suddenly going to open them up at will, and it doesn't happen. It's very difficult. If you won up, it would have been different. They'd have had to come out and look to, you know, to open the game up, but they had nothing to come out for.
We obviously wanted to get the 3 points, and especially when you went down to 10 men. You know, we didn't take real advantage of that, you know, so a bit disappointed, but you know, just as long as we don't concede goals and don't lose. Of course, we wanted the 3 points today, but it wasn't to be.
I saw enough today to give us a lot of hope for the future, and eventually we'll build a good team here. I've got no doubts about it. I'll build a terrific team at Tottenham.
Is it a fair result then, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think Spurs will be disappointed because you know, Arsenal going down to 10 men, they've not managed to take the advantage, but it was probably a fair result. Both teams had decent chances.
Arsenal must have feared the worst then, Arsenal supporters, but how did you see it?
Yeah, I think probably a point was raised. A point doesn't really do anything for both sides. You know, they both needed a win, and obviously it changed the game a little bit. They're sending off an action-packed 37 minutes from Mr. Aboué, that's for sure, because he started the game really well. I thought Arsenal, the first sort of 20 minutes, had the better of the game. And he...
If you've got somebody on a short fuse, you must have had a few in your time.
Well, it's infuriating when a player will get himself sent off 2 bookings, and one of them's for, you know, the descent that he showed. You know, he was told 3 times to go away and he stayed there.
Can't you play them some whale music or something before they go out, or just calm them down?
You'd like to be able to press a little button which makes them go back a couple of yards when you can see it happening. And the infuriating thing is probably he's still receiving from the goal and he's carried it on. And as Lee said, you know, he looks as if he's got himself sent off, and Arsenal's, the game plan's out the window. Although, you know, I think Arsene Wenger was very brave in what he did after that, after the sending off.
Arsenal, unusually for him, had a beef with something, and it turned out to be the disallowed goal. He said was cancelled wrongly. What do we think?
Well, it's one of those that if
Has to go over him, but he was right there, Mike Dean. You can't complain about his positioning, and he gave the foul before he even put it in the net.
Managers plainly earn their crust when they lose a player. They're down to 10. There's decisions to be made, and brave ones in Arsenal.
Well, what normally happens is if you get someone sent off, you just keep the midfield and your back four the same. But Arsene was very, very brave. He kept 2 up front, but the 3 narrow midfield players. So where's the space? They're the midfield players working their socks off, trying to keep the ball contained. But when they're that close, the space is on the other side. I think it's Palacios in the end gets the ball. In the end, I think he gives the end. But I thought in general, Gallas marshalled his defence brilliantly. Don't let the player turn on the edge of the box. His positioning, like we've talked about, is so important for a centre-half. There he is, right position, looks easy. And again, as the ball comes in, Clichy's going to go out to his winger. That leaves Lennon free. Then you need your centre-back to react. Watch how quick he reacts. He sees the danger, he's over, clears up. Great centre-back play, and I've been critical over him over the past with his captaincy, but as a defender, he's first class.
So have we got a top 4 side in Arsenal? Are they going to finish in the top 4, do you think?
Well, I think they're making a little bit of a hash of it at the moment, but with the running coming...
And there's not a hope of Spurs going down. That's not going to happen.
I don't think Spurs are going to go down. I think Harry has got a squad there that's going to keep them in the Premier League.
Palacios and Modric played really well today. I think they could be the key.
Let's have a look at the table then. Man United top the Barclays Premier League, and if they beat Fulham on Wednesday week in that game in hand, they'll go 5 points clear of Liverpool. Third place Villa will realistically end Chelsea's title hopes, arguably, should they beat them in a fortnight's time. Arsenal remain 5th after a 3rd successive draw. West Ham still there in 8th. With the bottom 5 all losing, Tottenham are now just 2 points above the relegation zone. As we said before, Portsmouth in 16th. It looks like they're now managerless. It looks like the announcement will be made tomorrow morning that Tony Adams has been dismissed. Just 8 points separate the teams in the bottom half. Only Newcastle and Sunderland managing to win this weekend. We'll finish with Too Good, Too Bad, our favourite fans yesterday. This lady fancy dress as a polar bear at Chelsea, and this lad as I don't know what, but he's darkly inscrutable. Well, we've spotted your son. Push those specs up. Oh, magnificent. And this man isn't playing the fancy dress competition, it says Wigan. Whether he's woke up for the game or not, I don't know. That was actually pre-match. Resolute defending from Hull, Zayata here, right in the Niagaras. It gets more painful every time you see it. Oomph. Oh, dear. Just once more. Terrible. And he stayed down for quite some time, but he's perfectly all right, just his eyes watered. And Mike Dean, outstanding conducting. What is he doing? I don't know. We haven't treated this. This actually happened. This is what he did. He's all over the place. Is he conducting or is it disco? He's got to get his legs moving as much as his arms, hasn't he? But Alan, good to have you here. Lee, thanks as ever. Thanks for watching. Have a good week. Match of the Day 2 back in a fortnight's time.